Hello everyone! Welcome back to Luna the Book Moth. This is chapter 19 of Mornstar, the Maiden Voyage. If you like what you hear, please do consider liking and subscribing and clicking the notification icon so you know when I upload a new video. Without further ado, let's begin. Chapter 19. How? Why? What did they want with Dawn that they had tracked her down through their whole adventure? Dawn was struggling, but unable to move. Her body was tied down. The last fleeting glimpses Dawn saw were Dylan's terrified expression, a rotating device in her face, then darkness. I must thank you for finally capturing her, sir, though I am quite surprised that it's a girl, a human girl, and not a meteorite, but who's complaining? A female voice quietly summed up. Yes, Amelia. I was just beginning to believe that she could be it, not just that she possessed it. You are a fool, sir. Even if it had been a meteorite, it is not what it is that counts. And you are a witch, Amelia. What do you plan to do? You compliment me, sir. I will extract the power, draining it from her frail body. If I'm correct, it will not harm her in any way other than excruciating pain. If not, her body will be torn apart in a terrible display of science. No loss either way. The female, Amelia, was terrifying. Her voice was quiet and controlled, but she seemed to enjoy suffering of any kind. Whatever was going to happen, it was going to hurt. Dylan was anxious. He sat in a control room of some sort. Consoles, switches, buttons, screens, and other things lined the walls. He watched unblinkingly at the glass wall that separated him from Dawn. He was scared. The scientist who examined her up and down had long black hair and shiny round spectacles. A pure white lab coat was the majority of her garb, but she gave off the essence of malice. Apparently her name was Amelia. She worked with General Duhart, the man in green. Dylan had been told that they had been searching for a potentially dangerous energy that broke from the atmosphere. They had assumed it was a meteorite and sent a retrieval unit. When it was not found, they began a search for whoever had it using radiation-sensing devices. When they finally figured out Dawn had the energy, she was off the radar. That was, until the sky lit up with roaring pillars of pure energy. It was the breakthrough they were waiting for. They immediately set up a base near Polaris, waiting for her to fly into their hands. It took a while, and while she did escape during the bridge ambush, they knew she was trapped. He also learned that, while she was the head scientist, the other soldiers and scientists had to restrain Amelia from dissecting Dawn. No, he did not trust that woman in there with Dawn. But what could he do? He was duct-taped to his chair. General Duhart exited the containment room, leaving Amelia alone with Dawn. He sat down in an empty chair, took off his hat, and sighed. All this time, I never thought it would cost a human life. Dylan stared at him. What? It's rude to stare, kid. What do you want with her? What are you, her bodyguard? We just wanted the heart energy. We found a legend depicting a floating city flowing with the brightest energy known to mankind. Amelia took an unnatural interest in these legends, swearing she would find this energy and harness it. Then Polaris fell. Is that what that city is called? Well, yes, then Polaris fell. We searched the ruins thoroughly for any trace of the energy, but it was dead and empty. We were about to give up when Amelia found something. Dawn's eyes fluttered, then opened in fear. Where was she? She was tied down in a machine against the wall, straps securing her to the mechanical wall. The strange lady's glasses flashed in the light as she went to view her subject. Well, good morning, my little meteorite. Who are you? Where am I? Let me go! My name is Amelia, head scientist of PPW, the Power Protection of War. We protect the population from unknown, potentially dangerous power. And as to where you are in my little lab. This is where I extract and study potentially dangerous energy. Like you. And no, I'm afraid we can't let you go. Amelia smiled creepily. She seemed to be dreaming of all the ways she could dissect poor Dawn. Amelia is going to tear that poor girl apart.
General Duhart said sadly. She can't. I won't let her. How? You're duct taped to a chair, young man. Not if you release me. If I let you go, you save the girl. What's in it for me? Pretty sure Dawn could make you fly. That's good enough for me. Done. The general untied Dylan. He stood up and shook hands with the general. Dawn didn't know what was going on, but she saw a kind of deal between Dylan and the general. Dylan stared through the glass at her. He was going to do anything. A dream flashed before her eyes as she remembered where she had seen that look before. Her attention turned back to Amelia as she pulled something out of her coat pocket. A blue stone pendant with a golden crest. A king's crest.
I found this in a big empty room of that floating city. It was the only one there.
It was her father's king's crest.
Give that back! Do you know how dangerous that kind of power is?
Amelia let it swing like a pendulum in front of Dawn's face before grabbing it back and taking it to a control deck to one side. The king's crest glowed a brilliant blue, and a circuit pattern appeared with that same blue. It led to the machine where Dawn was still struggling.
No, but we'll find out.
The machine whirred, and Dawn's ears began to ring. A terrible, splitting pain entered her body. It felt as if her whole body was being torn apart. Someone was pulling her arms with the hope of tearing them out of their sockets. Her legs were the same way, and it felt like she was being both engulfed in flames and frozen in a lake of ice. She was filled with the pain of 1,000 people finding their sudden, agonizing death. Without trying to restrain it, she screamed. She had only screamed so loud and so emotionally once before.
Beautiful! Beautiful!
Amelia screamed.
Oh, this is so much more wonderful than Linnea, than that big explosion of the oil mining town. Even better than the fields and oceans now devoid of life because of my inventions. People think it was the government. They told you so.
Amelia grinned.
Well, I am the government.
A brilliant crack of light cut her torso from the top down. A terrifying figure appeared from the fissure. Dawn's eyes turned an angelic fury white. Her hair billowed in a non-existent wind. She seemed to rise from the straps, step right through them, and stand outside of containment. But if one would look closer, this figure was not Dawn. It was a mere image of her, an image made of pure energy, a fury that could not be obtained. When it stepped from the machine, the electronics short-circuited and set on fire. Amelia smiled as the terror before her began to destroy her lab.
Just as I thought. The curse of the heart, captured in the form of a simple girl. Such power, such raw, undisturbed power! The fury turned to view Amelia. Bright wings exploded from its back, and it conjured a tri-pronged spear of light. It stretched its arm toward her. Amelia smiled. Her glasses shone bright white. The console behind her exploded, and she fell, burnt to a crisp, on the floor. Dawn was slowly falling back to unconsciousness. Her entire form had changed at the release of the fury. Her red-brown locks fell gently on her face. Her once beauteous garb transformed into a coral, loose-fitting shirt with bell sleeves, a pair of white leggings, and knee-high leather boots. Her purple crystal earrings were sparkling in the flame-filled light. She saw a fuzzy scene. She saw the fury march straight to the control room. She saw its reflection clearly in Dylan's terrified eyes. Don't leave me, please,
she pleaded with the last ounces of strength left in her. Then she succumbed to the darkness.